Okay, this is my 150-pound crossbow limb. I sell this as a replacement package on eBay. Normally what I do is I sell the limb, and you're also going to get a new string with two of the plastic tips. They look like this. They fit on the ends of the limb. And so this is a package that I sell. And I get a lot of questions from people about which crossbow does this fit, and is it good for my Wildcat RC300, and this is good for my Barnett, and it just goes on and on. So I wanted to kind of just produce this video, attach it to the ad, let people know what's going on. I actually carry 3 different types of crossbows that are 150-pound crossbows, and I have those here just so you can kind of see. This is a wood-stocked 150-pound crossbow. Uses a metal stock on there, and as you can see, if I get this just right, there's a slot that limb, sometimes it's called a prod, it's supposed to go into and fit across. Okay, and so really when you're working with this particular limb, the real critical measurements are how thick it is here, and to a certain extent how thick it is here, although this really isn't a factor because there's so much room in there for that thing to fit that the thickness is not going to be really super critical. But this is the real critical measurement here, as well as the total length for your crossbow. So, like I say, this is a wood crossbow that I sell. I also have here a camel crossbow. You can see it still uses that really noticeable slot that everything fits into. This particular limb would fit inside there as well, although it's not crossbow colored or camel colored. And so that's a crossbow that this will work on. Another 150-pound crossbow, really simple. You know, every one of these will be sold on eBay for around $100 or a little bit less. This one also has the slot in it, and you can see it just slides right in and fits. So when you want to know if this is going to match up to the crossbow that you have, the real critical part is let's look at this front nose end that this part will slip into, and make sure that it's going to work. You know, I'm going to look here, and I've got about an inch and an eighth right here. From front to back, I've got about 7/8 of an inch. And like I say, the biggest measurement is going to be that inch and an eighth. If I measure this here, you're going to see that it's about 15/16. So when I stick that through there, I've actually got about 3/16 of an inch worth of clearance that'll move up and down. Now once you get that in there, if you want to, you can just shim that up. It doesn't take much to keep it from sliding up. A little piece of matchstick, whatever. It's not going to take very much to do that. But that's what this crossbow limb is used for. Now the crossbow limb is 27 inches from tip to tip, and for the most part, 120-pound crossbow is going to be 25 inches. 150-pound crossbow will be about 27. If you have a 180-pound crossbow, it's going to be about 29. And so you're going to have to pay attention when you're making that measurements. I give the 150-pound because overwhelmingly you're going to find they're this length. For instance, here's the camel crossbow limb that comes with that camel crossbow that I showed you, and you'll see that, I mean, they're literally identical match. This is the black limb that comes with this crossbow that I showed you just a second ago, and there is definitely top and a bottom, but you can see that very similar match. I mean, there's not a lot of difference between all these crossbow limbs. The lengths are literally identical. Even the ends where the tip slides on are very similar. So when I say it's a universal crossbow fit, basically that's what I mean. The something that is pretty critical to keep in mind, though, is you really should buy a crossbow that has a matching string that comes with it. I have seen 150-pound crossbows that use a string that's 25 3/4 inch instead of the 26 3/4 that I use. So if you bought this and you wanted to use your old string, you're really going to have to significantly bend that bow to get that string on there, and it may be too tight for it. So anyway, I sell the match set. You get the limb and the string, and then I also sell extra strings. You may want to add some of those on because they do occasionally break. So one last thing I want to go about is how we mount this thing in here. I'll just use this crossbow as an example. Remember, we've got this slot here. Normally what you're going to get is a plasticky rubber piece, and that goes up against the back of the stock here. Okay, so put it in there. Here's where your screw's coming in, and you're going to put that in there. Then what you do is you stick that limb in there, and then in front of the limb you're going to have a metal piece. This is a metal that when you screw the little stud in here to press it in and hold that limb in place, you've got metal contacting the front of the metal stud, and you're not like boring a hole into the front of your crossbow limb. I've seen a lot of these. I get a lot of customer returns at times, so used ones I sell are that. And what will happen is those guys will not put that plate on the front, and they end up drilling a hole into this fiberglass limb with that stud because they're really trying to tighten it down. Well, you want to have that metal plate on front so that you don't damage your limb when you're screwing the screw in. So anyway, if you need to know if this is going to fit your crossbow, like I say, measure this opening here from top to bottom. And that measurement should be bigger than this measurement I give here, which is 15/16 of an inch. And then we know that this is going to slip in and we'll be able to work. If it's a little bit loose up and down, that's not a big deal because it's probably not going to move around anyway, but if you want to, you can just kind of shim it up a little and take that ability for that thing to move like this by just sticking something in there. It's not going to take much of anything to do that because with that metal plate in there and that screw going through, it's going to hold it good and tight. So anyway, that's my crossbow limb. I always try to be very competitive on the pricing on eBay. If you find there's a deal that you think is better, you let me know, because I'll probably adjust my prices, because I really do try to make it the best combination of cost and shipping that I can do.